Alright. Hi, welcome back to Dear Black Girl on BlackUSA.news. We want to thank BlackUSA.news for letting us be here today. My name is Nadari. I am the CMO of Xaria's Closet, which means the Chief Marketing Officer. And
I am the CEO of Xaria's Closet, which means Chief Executive Officer.
Before we get into today's topic, we want to talk about the business. If you haven't bought from us yet, if you haven't checked out our website yet, if you haven't checked out our social medias yet, then I advise you should. If you don't have to, it's just amazing.
The lip gloss I am wearing right now is this color. This is the lip gloss. I have many more colors, and I'm wearing this one right now.
On Zaria'sCloset.com. I've checked it before. When you put in Xaria's Closet, Zaria'sCloset.com should be the first website to pop up because I don't know any other one. So, I know we're not wearing the Xaria's Closet hoodies right now, but mine is in the wash, so I do plan to wear it next week. Yeah.
I'm gonna wear my T-shirt, my Dear Black Girl T-shirt tomorrow, next week.
So, what is the show about today?
So today the show is trigger warning, disturbing topics. Today the show is about how to approach your kids about things that could be disturbing, like school shootings or other things that could happen in the house to other kids that are really bad, child abuse and stuff like that, and how to approach your kids about it, as in how to talk to them about it so they can avoid it. Yeah.
The first thing that we want to do is thank BlackUSA.news for having us here today.
All right. Yeah.
Okay. Hey guys, so today we're just having like a conversation, having a conversation with the girls, just because we know there's been so much happening across the country, and I never had the conversation with either of them, but the kids are still learning about this information. So first for Nadari, how did you learn about the school shootings in Texas?
I had a parent tell me.
A parent told you?
Yeah.
That was the first time you heard it?
Yeah.
Where else did you hear the information?
On TikTok, spreading awareness and stuff.
Okay, so you saw it on TikTok?
And I heard it from a school. Second, I heard it from an adult, because our principal, he said it, and we were in the middle of doing our diagnostic, but who cares about that? And we had a moment of silence for them.
So you had a moment of silence. Did you also have a moment of silence in school?
Yeah, kind of had to be silent because we're doing a diagnostic.
Yeah.
And I couldn't talk.
Okay, so now this is an important topic. So topics like these, how do you think it's best to talk about it with you guys?
Well, I've been told very straightforward, and when I was first told it, it did not bother me at all. I didn't have any nightmares or things like that. I've been told pretty straightforward. It never bothered me the first time I've heard about stuff like this, mentally, and it doesn't really bother me mentally now. Like, it doesn't make me have nightmares or feel scared to be places like school.
I've heard it too, and it doesn't really make me feel any different. I just feel safer.
You feel safer knowing?
Actually, no. When I feel safer, I mean I feel less safer is what I mean. That's all I feel, but When
So
I have someone on my side, like my mom here, it makes me feel safer.
okay.
Wow.
So what are things that you guys have learned in school um, about things like not even just gun violence, but like the school shootings? Like, how are you? Do you feel safe in school?
No.
No, not at all.
Not at all.
Well, not at all, but like the drills are not helping.
No.
I mean, for the school shooting drill, well, the hard and soft lockdown drills, I'm assuming that's when somebody breaks into the school, right? Or somebody's on the school campus that's armed. Well, we would usually go into the closet, or if your classroom has a different hiding place that you would go into that can fit around 20 to 30 people, then that's where you would hide. And I'm assuming the school shooters went through the exact same thing and know exactly what we're doing. And for the drill, we have I think the assistant principals walk around politely knocking on the door, and I don't think a school shooter is going to do that. I really think we're going to break down the door.
Okay. So Zaria, have you ever participated in any of those drills in school?
Yes. Once we were in a lockdown drill, the teacher can't lock the door, so yeah, and we can't close the door properly. So we just, I don't know why we just hide in the desk of someone's arm. Um, and they can really see us because all the desks are really tall and they have a really big space in the middle. So I don't know how that's gonna help.
Also, we don't close our closet doors either when you hide in the closet. Like, what?
Like what?
Like,
Like
it's a little confusing.
It is,
The only
but
one I find sorry to interrupt.
no.
The only one I find reasonable is the fire drill one because if there is a fire drill, I think we can act quickly enough to get everyone out safely.
hmm
But like other than that, the other drills are not helpful at all.
no.
But you understand that it's really kind of hard to prepare for those situations because we pray that it never happens.
Mhm.
But as we've seen, it's happened several times, and we can only pray that no harm comes to you guys. Do you know that's why that I pray before you guys leave the car, before we drop you off, we pray every single morning
hmm
because it's some of it is outside of our control.
Oh.
But we want to make sure that you're always covered with God. God always covers you, and we do the best that we can. And I'm sure that a lot of these kids, a lot of the schools are doing the best that they can as well. But what would make you guys feel safer in school if the drills aren't doing it?
What make us feel better is that we had something to prepare for these situations.
So the drills are
That's
supposed to
you.
prepare you. So what else would you think?
I, I don't really know. The
I-
first thing I said, I don't really know. I'm sorry for that. I'm
No,
sorry.
no,
I'm sorry to.
You're
No.
like, I don't know, so I'm like about to talk because I had a reason.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Denara.
All right, so what would make me feel safer in school is if there were more security guards, to be honest, because I was told that security guards were there to like break up fights between kids if they were armed, because the security guards do have weapons on them, but I don't see a lot of them throughout the school. I see the same ones. I don't see any personal security guards on the floor that we're on.
Mhm. The
And
only I only see like different security guards in one place.
Is there anything that us as parents, so we know that sometimes these things are outside of our control,
Mhm.
and no one, anyone wants this to happen in any school ever again. But even if it were to happen, like even with what happened in Texas, would it be helpful to talk to your parents about it?
yeah, yes, I mean, if the people around you are getting hurt from the
Yeah.
school shooting, that would be pretty traumatizing. Yeah. So I do think you should talk to your parents about it. I also think if there's somebody on campus that's armed, that the police should be called other than our school security guards. Like if they're outside the building, then they should just take advantage of the situation and just call the police. Because I do not see a lot of security guards around the school.
The only security guards I see are the ones that are usually they're usually in the front of the building with the doors open, and sometimes they're usually not there because they're usually just in the front because the kids are leaving, stuff like that.
Mhm.
And there's just different ones there. So usually, the one I see the most is I forgot her name, but she's the one that I see the most, and everyone else they're just usually in the same place.
They look so upset all the time.
Well, sometimes they may have other things going on in their lives while they're upset. So again, so as a parent, and I wanted to talk to you about these topics, how do you think I should go about it?
Mm, just tell me the story, and then give me ways. Be careful. Expensive.
Be careful, be aware of your surroundings at all times.
What to do in possible situations like this.
Yeah, but there are a lot of differences. So it's not just a school shooting, but there are a lot of difficult conversations that parents have to have with their kids.
Oh,
And there are topics I'm sure that you talk about with your friends.
yeah.
Did any of you guys talk about the school shootings?
Yes. And Teacher Andy said, "What do you mean that the teachers can close the doors?" Oh, it's just our door. It's just our class door because the door doesn't really close properly. I do not know why, and
That
we can't lock the door.
is not safe. I think it's just because it's a drill.
No, like no, I literally we can't close our door properly.
Alright, well then you get that fixed.
They
Yeah.
really
That's
do.
pretty dangerous.
Yes. But on a whole, when you talk to your friends about when you guys are at lunch or in the classroom and you're talking about things like this, how do your friends feel about it?
Most I usually comfort my friends about it and tell them to go talk to their parents when they get home and stuff like that to comfort them more
No, that
about
gets you
it.
uncomfortable. My friends and I would be like, "That's crazy. I can't believe that would happen." They weren't exactly scared. We were just surprised.
You weren't scared but surprised. Okay. And you encourage your friends to talk to their parents about it.
hmm Like I do.
And I know, Nadari, you had already said that before that you talked to one of your parents and they're really
Two.
both of your parents, but you said one parent is really direct and straightforward.
Yeah.
Do you like the direct, straightforward approach?
Yes.
And so you also said, Dari, that you got some of your information on TikTok. Well, you saw some of it on TikTok.
Hmm.
You can just search it up and it's on the bottom and you say discover and if you have like that little
Okay.
fireflies, then you just type it in.
Okay.
But would you guys go to social media or would you talk to us first?
Probably you first. I don't know the
Yeah.
people on social media. I don't even post.
I don't either. The only things I post is
Xaria has a
Online
duck
video.
video.
yeah, don't I? I was bored and I just put random stuff on my account.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So other things. So what advice now would you guys give to parents? Because not everyone is straightforward.
Oh.
Do your friends seem like these are things that they would want to talk to their parents about? And some of them probably they have no problems talking to their parents. But for some parents who are thinking about talking about these topics, do you think it should be talked about?
Yes.
What's the benefit? Why do you think it should be talked about?
Well, they can't grow up and get older, and if they do want to have kids or they're watching somebody else's kids, they don't know about those kind of things. So yeah. Also, I think, well, depending if your child has some sort of phobia or if it makes it uncomfortable or if it makes them uncomfortable, then you should approach them in a more subtle way.
Yeah.
What's a more subtle way?
Mm.
What's a different way or other suggestions you think that we good parents could have these conversations?
All right, so another trigger warning, something else disturbing. We could just leave out the blood and just talk about gun violence.
Hmm.
So like being careful with the gun, not to pick one up.
Hmm.
One thing I have a phobia of is blood, but not
Yeah.
my blood. Once I got scared because of that cut. I got scared because um,
Okay.
Darling gets scared seeing gets scared seeing it like in games and stuff with graphics. So it's always a graphic warning. But
So, Dara, you made a good point. You were talking about just talking to your kids about gun violence.
Yeah.
Um, and if they see a weapon or whatever, and not, and I don't believe. I think you know how some people say, "Yo, you shouldn't snitch and you shouldn't tell." I'm a firm believer that if you see something, you tell an adult.
our teacher says not to snitch if it doesn't approach to us. But
If it doesn't,
someone in our class threw a pencil at someone and they almost got hit in the eye. And the teacher said, "It's not good to be a snitch. When I see something, I will approach them." And then the teacher said, "You should not be throwing a pencil in class."
okay, but that's a little different from what we're talking
oh,
about. I'm talking about something a little bit more serious. So, if you were to see something, just because there's not always, but sometimes there are signs around us and you see different things. You should tell an adult if you think it's something serious. And it's not about, like, I don't want you guys to ever feel like, oh, you're snitching. It's not about snitching, but if no one says anything, then these are how things become bigger issues and bigger problems.
I wouldn't even call it snitching. You're protecting other people.
Yeah. Yes, you are. You're protecting other people, you're protecting yourself, and you're protecting other people.
But yeah, the first thing I learned when I was approached by this from my parents is to just not touch a gun. Don't come near one. If you
You
do see
should.
one, you should tell
You
the
should tell us.
authority.
You should tell us immediately.
Yeah.
That's not guns are not toys. They shouldn't be played with. And you girls are young. You should never see a gun unless it's on an officer's hip.
Oh,
Like why else there? What other situations are there in which you should come in contact with one, and definitely not with another student or child.
I have a hidden Nerf gun in my room, but I
a
put it back.
Nerf gun.
But again,
I
see,
tried
but
because
pause.
it's
Wait,
hard
no, no,
when
no.
you
Wait,
shoot
wait,
it.
Zaria. But see, now you're talking about something like a Nerf gun. That's like a joke and that's silly. We're talking about serious things.
I keep it there just to be safe.
A Nerf gun.
Shut up!
We don't shut up. That's not nice. We don't say that.
Okay.
But you're talking about a Nerf gun, and we're talking about serious things. Kids were lost their lives, and there are parents that don't have their children anymore, and teachers who went to work and they're not. So it's not to kind of bring everyone down, but I want to make sure that we have the space to have these types of conversations.
Mhm. All right. But yeah, point was well, the only time I've ever seen another person with a gun is when they have a permit and they
Yes,
legally have a gun,
yes,
which I've seen.
but we're not even going to discuss that.
I know. I'm just saying the only other people I've seen with a gun, they have a permit. Like I saw the permit on their wall. They like legally have one.
Yeah, because there are some people's professions
Hmm.
that require them beyond the police that require them to have a gun,
Hmm.
a weapon.
They usually
But
live
there
off the
should
grid.
never be any guns that you're just in close to or in your proximity. And if that were the case, you would tell a parent.
Okay.
So there are other types of situations that you think parents should talk to their kids about because I didn't talk to Zaria about the shooting, but yet she knew about it because you heard it in school and you heard it from friends
And adults.
and adults. So you heard it from different people, even though I didn't have the conversation with you yet.
Mm-hmm.
So this is why talking is important because we get to make sure that we know that you have the correct information because sometimes things on social media aren't always true or accurate. Um, so we want to make sure that you guys are prepared. We don't want you to walk around and be afraid of going to school or going to the supermarket and things like that. But you should know that these things can happen. But we try our best, which I'm sure most parents do, to keep their kids safe. And the one thing that we always do and will continue to do is pray because
Mm-hmm.
that is some things, again, are outside of our control, but God is in control of everything.
Okay. Hmm. I was gonna say something and I forgot. You were talking about. Oh yeah, not everything that's on social media is true. Well, some of the TikTok videos, basically, for the children who died. Like, I'm just gonna use an example name on TikTok. They'll talk about the kids that died. So maybe there's one kid that died. Say their name is Crystal. There'd be justice for Crystal. There'd be hashtags going all around social media. Also, most of those people that post those videos cite their sources. So they'd have a website that you could go to that explains the story properly and the news show they got it from. Like,
So this is where, and this is, I'm glad we're having this conversation. Understand that even though some people have sources, there are fake sources. There are some people that create fake websites.
oh,
This is why when you want information and you want to know something, you should come to us first. Because and even on those sources, it may seem really legitimate and it seems real. There are a lot of people that go out of their way to put out misinformation. So that's why even following those links on those pages, it's still better to come to us because we can then point you in the right direction.
okay.
Because there's a lot of that. There's misinformation everywhere. And sometimes we have to be aware that not everyone has good intentions and not every person is nice and kind.
Hmm.
And because of that, we always have to be mindful. So that's something that I think parents should also talk to kids about because you want to talk about these difficult conversations and I think because you two are different ages. You're 8, you're 12. What the I would tell Zaria about it, but I might give you more details
Okay.
because based on your age, that's how much information we're going to share because we have to make sure that you're old enough or mature enough to handle the information. There's certain things, like you said, you don't like to see blood. So we really, I wouldn't show you pictures of that, but I would want you to understand the importance of what happened and to be aware of it. So the level of information that I'd share or your mom or dad would share with the two of you would be different. But then you two also talk with one another, which is fine. And I'm glad that you guys have that. But always remember that if you want to know something, if you're interested in knowing something, even if it's scary, it's difficult, it's bad, it makes you sad, however it is, you come to us for for the information. Because, like we said, social media, it's great to get information from sometimes, but there's also a lot of information that's incorrect, and we need you to get the correct information. Because even say one of your friends clicked on those sites that weren't accurate and they could be sharing information that's not true. And they're not trying to share bad information,
Oh,
but
Once,
it can happen.
once I was doing a project, I misclicked because I was trying to fix because my chair moved because someone was moving their chair next to me, and I clicked on something, and I'm like, "What is this?" And it was like a scam site, so I just restarted my whole tablet, and then it was gone,
Yeah,
disappeared.
so it's just about really being safe. And if and when you don't feel safe, you talk to someone about it.
oh, that NYC News official thing. I sent it to one of my parents. I went to Safari. It was the official website because it took me to the show on
Mhm.
YouTube live.
So, which is good. So, you see what you did? You said you sent the link to one of your parents.
Yeah, we just talked about it. We're like,
Yeah.
wow, that's crazy.
So what you did there, that's a great example of making sure that you're checking your information and that your parents know. Because we're not looking at your tablets and your phones all day, every day, but it helps us to have a sense of where you're getting information, how you're finding information, so that we can make sure that you have accurate information.
Mm-hmm.
And so this
You should
comment says,
you should always tell the teacher or an adult that's in the classroom, and certainly tell your parents when you go home.
excellent, do you guys agree?
Yeah.
Yes.
And I'm sure
Oh, don't
My
slap
dad.
me. It's okay.
that's what you guys do. So again, I think today's show wasn't as cheery and bright, but it's really about making sure we're having those conversations. And to
Mm-hmm.
your point, Nadar, you said you guys are getting older and you still have to go out into the world. You have to go to school, we go out, there are different things that we're doing, and we want to make sure that you're always aware of what's happening,
Mm-hmm.
but in an appropriate level. So it's not about just sharing any and everything, but making sure you have knowledge and understand what to do. Even like say you were having feelings. I think Nadar, you were saying earlier that it's very traumatizing. There could be students in your school or in your class that were traumatized about what happened in Texas, not because it happened in your school, but even that it happened at all. Do you know that when there's something, this event, something like this happened many years ago. Um, it's called Sandy Hook. And I
I
don't,
heard of
and
it. I
so
heard of it.
you heard of Sandy Hook. So Sandy Hook was a very similar situation to what happened in Texas. And when Sandy Hook happened, I was a teacher in kindergarten. And what happened in Sandy Hook was a lot of kindergarten students that lost their lives. And I had one
Oh.
student similar, someone came in with a weapon and hurt and killed a lot of people and a lot of young children.
Was it in your school?
It wasn't in my school,
Oh, thank the
but
gods.
no, that's not funny. It's sad that it happened. It shouldn't happen in any school,
You're right,
but it
though.
didn't happen in my school. However, there were students in my class that saw it on the news, and they were scared to come back to school.
Oh.
I
So
hope they were able to talk to their parents about it.
yeah, but sometimes, and even talking to their parents, they were still very afraid. And understanding that sometimes you may talk to us and we're here to help you to feel better, but you may still have feelings. You may still be afraid or sad or angry. Um, and that's also okay.
Okay.
So what we pray that this doesn't have that this stops happening. So that's something that we can pray for is that we don't want any other child or adult anyone to experience this
Mm-hmm.
again. And we'll pray until it stops. But until then, if you want to talk about something like that, if you hear about something like that and you want more information, you know to come to us for that.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
hmm And so we're almost done. Look at that. It's
Oh.
1 minute. We have about a minute left. Are there any other last thoughts or things you want to share before we go?
Yes.
All right, now that we got past now that we got past that disturbing topic, is it okay if we go back to talking about Zara's closet?
Sweet.
Well, yes, we
That's
can.
the wrong way.
You girls are so silly.
Oh, I know. It's like this. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
And where can they find that?
Yeah. At zarascloset.com. I wish you could bring it up on the screen, but we can't right now.
Yeah.
Also, Zara's closet on Instagram.
Yeah.
Yes. So, like Zaria, what is the affirmation? So, say the affirmation that you say every morning before going to school.
I am fearfully and wonderfully made by God.
Say it. Oh, but you got to say
I
it
am
slower and
fearfully
clearly.
and wonderfully made by God. I can do all things through Christ Jesus who strengthens me, because greater is He that is in me than he that lives in this world. I can be, I will be, I am amazing.
And that is how we want all kids to feel amazing
Yeah.
and
I
safe.
always am amazing with my family. And
Yes.
everyone's getting a group hug right now because I want one.
Yes, and all black girls, black boys, all kids, every color, shape, and size, to know that they can be amazing and that they should feel safe wherever they go.
I wish I had the other lip glosses and masks with me, but hey, mommy, can you pull up the site on your phone?
We'll show it to them next week. Where should they
Hey,
find
stop
you
showing them
guys
my
next
phone.
week?
Please come back next week, Saturday at 12 p.m. to see us talk about another topic.
Mhm. Bye.